I want to see your position on. Let's start with looting. Looting. I'm breaking into a Nike store. I'm breaking into an Apple store. I'm stealing. I'm going to take whatever I can. I'm white. I'm black. I'm Chinese. What do we do when that occurs? We see it happening. They're running out. What should the police, the authorities do?
Well, okay, that's such a complex thing right now. So, and I appreciate you bringing the fact that, it's multiple races doing it, because it's very clear in the first 3 or 4 days of the protests that the looting was done by non-protesters.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
But folks, stay focused here. What do we do with those people when we see it? Because people want answers to it.
Well, I think that's where I'm kind of getting to. So you have to be able to say that looting in and of itself is illegal. But here's the problem, though. And this is always the problem. The police should arrest the looters, without question. But there's a difference between arresting the looters and attacking the protesters.
Yeah.
Right? So making sure that we arrest the looters, we deal with that. That is really critical.
But are we all on the same page if we see the looter, he or she is walking out with stuff, or they're in the store, do they have the right to pin them to the ground, not put a knee in their throat? But if it means that they're fighting the police, do you agree the police have a right to do what they need to do without killing the person? We can agree on that, to stop that and arrest them.
Yeah, it's the police do. I don't think, because there's also plenty of videos of the protesters trying to stop the looters.
Right.
I think it's very dangerous for the protesters to do it.
Right. Okay. So you have no problem with that, because I think there's been a lot of, we saw what the mayor in your city just kind of, I don't know what he was doing during that time, but kind of, I think, had a, standoff mentality of, people on Fifth Avenue, Macy's stores. I mean, places that normally don't even get hit like this. And I think the mayor just, I ain't touching this. And I think a lot of folks then get angry about that, because either we're going to have a society of laws and you can't break these laws, or we're going to just say anarchy is here and do whatever you can do, justify it in some way that you've been mistreated, and go steal what you got to steal.
Yeah, okay, so I think, though, we got to circle back around and talk about the narrative of that one. So there's a difference between looting and theft. Okay, there is, and I'm saying this for a reason. All of the evidence has come out that what happened on Fifth Avenue was a coordinated theft. And what they did is and I think that's the key, because it's easy when we use the word looting to still connect them to the protest. But what we're seeing is it's almost like in a movie where the criminals create some event that's a diversion, and all the police go there so that now the criminals can go and they can get what they want to. Like, there's a holdup over here, the police go over here, now we're going to rob the bank we really want. It's documented now, right? There, you have lookouts on bikes. It was a coordinated attack. So that while all of this protest was going on and all of the police presence was there, you actually had people who their main focus was, now let's go rob Chanel. Let's go rob, Barney's. Let's go rob, all of these high-end places. And so I want to make sure that as we talk about this idea of justice and right and wrong, that we understand we are talking about, and even in Minneapolis, they're showing, there was not only were the protesters infiltrated by people who want anarchy, but there were, a criminal underground that also infiltrated for a variety of reasons. So to make sure that people say, okay, these are actually criminals who try to take advantage of the situation, not people who are in any way affiliated with protesters. And so we shouldn't link those two ideas together.
But either way, the destruction of property or stealing, you're not in favor of.
You know what? I'll tell you what I feel. I am not in favor of the stealing of property.
So kicking in the...
I'm not. Let me finish though. I am not in favor of the destruction of property, but I understand it.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah. I don't think people understand how angry Black people really have been, how much people have really endured, how much people have not been listened to. And I think all of us have had a moment where we were so mad we wanted to throw something or punch a wall, and maybe have. And that was a singular individual, often on a singular event. What you're seeing is you are seeing the results of decades and centuries of being mistreated. And I think what is mind-blowing is that with all of this that's happened, that Black people want equality and not revenge. So I totally get that it is wrong and that there should not be a destruction of property, but I also totally get why it's happening. I totally get it.
Well, and I think you're absolutely right on that. It's not they are excusing it, but you can understand that underlying tone that people are so fed up and they're tired and they're exhausted and they're weary and a lifetime of being mistreated that maybe without breaking some windows, nobody would even care.
Well, yeah, that's the other question, right? If it was just a peaceful protest, it could be easily ignored. And at some point, do you stick with principle or do you go to pragmatism? So there is that question.
I think we're on the same page on that.
No more Roach on Florida TV.